you mind looking at the bills list for August 26th?
Pretty much, I know who's getting paid.
Okay. Yeah, no, you can talk to me. Department 161, miscellaneous, there's a expenditure here for Blue Cross and Blue Shield. Is that for open enrollment?
No, that's all the health insurance.
Everybody?
Then we allocate, yes.
But open enrollment is occurring in the month of September?
Yeah, generally does, yeah.
No, that's under, Department 161, miscellaneous appropriations. Okay. If you look at, under the same department, there's a line item for CCMSI.
That's the third party administrator, pays all the insurance claims.
That's what they do.
You've been on, when they put up a cleanup deposit, we refund. It really doesn't belong on the bill list, but we just put it there essentially. Because it's easier to leave them on the bill list than go through them to leave them, and it turns out somebody wasn't looking for the deposit.
Thank you.
Areas. That's under water 17?
Right.
Yeah. When we don't have the equipment, they do sewer and water. Because sometimes, for instance, we do not have anywhere near the equipment. The deep streets, the bench streets, Dixie Highway, Broadway, Austin, those sewers are deep and we have the equipment to be able to go.
Mr. Williams, I know we have a sewer jet that jets out sewers. I know it stays in the shop all the time.
It does. Don't remind me.
Is it operable now?
You got to ask for it.
Okay, that's one of the things I'll ask about. Okay, yeah,
That's what I want to confirm, because we don't have the equipment, that's why we have.
And like I said, generally it's the larger mains and stuff, where the sewers are deeper.
Right.
motion to ratify August 26th bills list, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? None. Let's move on to September 9th. Pardon?
That was small.
It's smaller than the first one. Yeah.
Don't be wrong with something. Must be how they scan.
I think so.
we don't have equipment, we've already used any sensor to identify the lines, the shut offs.
Very
Kind of on top of each other.
Motion to complete council ratification. All in favor, signify by saying aye. All opposed? None?
Good, what about you? How's your handsome son doing? When's he start? Casino? He wanna do it too. I don't know. No. Just assume that. Hey, right. We're literally, of course, seeing it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for coming out. We're gonna open up this portion of the meeting for public comment. Just like for you to state your name, state your comment. We're gonna keep it down to, we got time, we can keep it to 3 minutes.
I got a question.
Yes, ma'am.
My name is Sharon McGee. You mentioned resurfacing 155th. What part of 155th?
Actually, they're doing it from Park Street. Let me back up. This isn't for questions and answers right now, but it's on 155th.
Where do I come to get questions answered? Because
You can come to City Hall, submit your questions to the mayor's office, they'd be more than happy to answer your question. This is just for comment here though, this evening.
yeah, this is a comment, but it's a question too. You guys need to hurry up and get the community hubs finished. I'm not 100% sure what they are for. You know, what are the intended purposes. When I first heard about it, it was supposed to be a community center. Now I'm hearing that it's supposed to be a place for the police to sit. I don't think that was a good place to spend $1.2 million to have some place for the police to sit. We need some parks, we need some streets, we need some sidewalks. So maybe talking about y'all go back there and have them to submit, some of those bills for you to ratify. Like, when are they gonna come to the communities? 155th is, that's just, when do you come over to, I'm from the 4th Ward. Don't too much get done in the 4th Ward. When is some of this money coming to the 4th Ward? So that's my comment right there.
It's a good one.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Finance committee, what could we expect, or this is the statement, we'd like to see the minutes. As you know, when we were on the committee together, Alderman Rogers, I was writing the minutes.
Mhm.
And today, if, somebody just newly moved into the city of Harvey, they wouldn't be fully aware of all that you've done to host. I think you're the only committee thus far who's hosted actual meeting that chairs it. So I think it would be just really enlightening, because we would then be following suit what city council does. You know, how we go, we approve the minutes, but if we don't have anything to reflect back on, we don't know where we come from, we really don't know where we're going. So I would advise, it would be great if Alderman Smith could take the minutes, and then those could be provided on the website. I see we made some awesome updates to the website, but that's even awesomer. That's not a word, but that would be just great
I
to
understand.
have that intel. Everything, is approved in administrative record. So, thank you for hosting the finance committee meeting,
You're welcome.
but we need some minutes so that we can have a reflection point. I do have one, go ahead. I see, so, when I'm speaking from the aldermanic side, I see that there are about $9,000 on the bill for refunds coming back to our mayor. And one of which, and I'm asking this because, I'm just all about equity and an equitable process. I know you put in for your aldermanic reimbursement. I don't know if you got it, I'm gonna assume you have. But, and as you know, Comptroller, we discussed this, And I'm just wondering, and for the record, when will I be able to get my monies back, about $19,000 I've spent since April 26th of 2023, and I've yet to receive a single cent. But then I see a tool on here for about $5,700 that's gonna be reimbursed, one tool. And perhaps it's gonna be used to benefit the third ward or the city of Harvey in general. But it's about a $5,700 piece of equipment. I've done about 50 events since I took office May 8th. And, I'm doing everything out of my pocket. And I shouldn't have to do that, but I'm not gonna stop serving the community too, because that's what we're supposed to do. I'm just trying to get some justice, around, things of that sort. Where exactly or when could the expectation of, maybe even a tentative date could be put out there, to learn about what are the next steps in that financial, process?
That's a wonderful question. I wish I could answer it. And you're right, I am waiting on money too, so, but that's something that's dealt with between the mayor's office and the comptroller. So, I'm pretty sure that the mayor, is pulling all the strings on that, so you can probably pose that question to the mayor.
I want to ask that Alderwoman Chapman did a great job last summer giving some funds towards an excellent block party that we had on my street. To my knowledge, she still hasn't been reimbursed, and I know rather recently we got some information because the city has not.
We'd like for you to state your name.
Ryan.
Ryan.
Yes, Zawalski.
Zawalski. Okay.
Yes.
Finish your comment.
So we saw that former Second Ward Alderman Tolbert had apparently gotten a huge pay increase that was paid, as well as, I don't know if it was this year or last year, got some back due money paid toward it, which is fine. But then again, just as a Second Ward resident, I'm extremely displeased and saying you guys need to answer for that, because you're in the majority voting with Clark, so you can't keep putting everything on him when it's convenient. And I'm like, she contributed $400. That's not supposed to come from her money. Now, we had a great event, but that was last summer. And Tolbert's getting paid for stuff he's not even alderman anymore. So I'm just like, what in the hell is happening? And I don't hear any answers, just like last week. But you guys are in the majority. So if you don't like something the mayor's doing, or if you're saying you don't have the answers, then my question would be, or my demand would be, it's 4 against 2. You know how to vote against my alderwoman when it's convenient for you, when you want to shut her up. So if you don't have answers and get answers, just vote 4 against 2. And she can get her questions answered, I can get mine answered, she can get hers, everybody can. So I don't understand why you guys don't use that. You have the majority. You can get any answers possible, because otherwise we're going to come here every finance meeting and be asking the same questions. And then I just feel like an idiot when people say, oh, how's things going in Harvey? And I'm like, oh yeah, wait, what? Your alderwoman she hasn't been paid? She does all these events out of her own pocket? Like, that's embarrassing. I know a lot of politicians in other towns, the people would be protesting, you know what I mean? So I try for her. I'm like, this woman, she has her own expenses. She can't keep doing this. I mean, this is ridiculous. And we know other people have gotten reimbursed. I just had to add that. And then the other concern was, I still don't see any agendas. I don't see any bills list, and nothing was put online. So I know you and Ms. Smith did ask some questions, but we have no idea what the bills lists are. So we have no idea about anything. So we're coming here. I'm just trying to record and interact because I'm a resident, but we have no idea what you're talking about. So we've got to have online and or on paper. When I go to other towns, the committee meetings, stuff is there so people can actually ask informed questions. We don't even know what to ask.
I was going to say something very similar, that how are we to be informed if we have, I'm sorry, Glennis Watson.
Yes, ma'am.
How are we to be informed if we have nothing to inform us? We can't, as Ryan said, can't ask intelligent questions because we have nothing before us. And you voted on stuff that we have voted on, my money being spent, and we have no say-so in what was done, what was deliberated on. We don't have, I heard something about, was it the Blue Cross Blue Shield that was reallocated to miscellaneous expenses? And I have a real problem with that, because, you know, that's not an adequate category for any kind of government expenditures. I'm sorry, it's just not. So, so to back up what Mr. Sinowski said, you know, we need something. If you're not gonna make it available in hard copy, make it available online. We can print it out ourselves, but then that way we can peruse it and see, you know, what you're talking about, what you're deliberating on.
Was there an agenda for today's meeting?
Yes, ma'am.
It was online.
Your name?
Oh,
They didn't
it's
print it,
online.
yeah.
Deronda Howard.
Okay, Mr. Rhonda. You want to finish?
No, I have another question.
I'm
I
done.
saw in the, and you might not even be the correct one, but I saw that you guys had approved with the water bill. You get the little list of things that have been approved, that you guys have voted on. So one thing I saw on there was, it said that now, if you get a ticket in the city of Harvey, you will no longer go to Markham. So is Harvey gonna be holding court here? Is that how that's gonna work? Do you know what I'm talking about?
I know exactly what you're talking about, but we're not at liberty to answer any questions.
Oh, you don't-
This
oh.
is just for comment.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
Well-
ma'am.
Well, I mean, when y'all put it on the sheet of
When-
paper,
when-
it's not very explanatory.
Mine,
Mm-hmm.
I have an open door policy. Okay, I'm very candid, very transparent.
But I'm saying,
If
you
you'd
voted
like-
on it,
If
but,
you'd like to talk to me after this forum here, but this
Uh-huh.
is an official finance meeting.
Okay.
After the regular meeting, if you wanna ask me a question, I'll be more than happy.
okay, I'll have that same question for you can answer after.
Sounds good. I'll be more than happy to answer.
Okay, thank
As
you.
well as yours, and yours,
Okay.
and yours. Okay, so, yeah, if you wanna ask me then, but I just can't do it right now.
Okay,
And I don't even wanna go into detail because the regular city council members aren't even aware. So it would be remiss of me to
yeah,
to
you
open
guys
it
are
up for
aware
the
because
public
yeah,
and
you're
answer
aware.
questions to
You all
them.
voted for it.
Yeah, it was
So
already
you're
voted
all,
for.
it's already
Yeah,
voted
no, I know
for.
what you're talking about is in
Right.
the past,
Uh-huh.
yeah. Any other questions? Oh, excuse me, Ms. Chapman, you already answered.
No, let her, I yield my time to her, let her talk.
Go ahead, Mr. Irving.
Oh, you
No,
can
go
only ask
ahead.
one- Is it only one question? Is that the rule? Only one question?
One question, yeah, we, 3
One
minutes, we
question.
weren't gonna bounce
No,
all
we
over
got,
the
we
place.
got a total, we got
Yeah,
about
30
32 minutes.
32
We got
minutes.
plenty of time.
No, it's 3 minutes per question.
But honestly, Alderman,
You
until
know,
that's written down.
and to be honest with you, you know, a lot of people say, don't, you should only do it at 2 minutes. I say, no, if you have the decency and you
I'm glad them people ain't
want to
here,
come
whoever
out,
they are.
okay,
Thank God they
then
ain't
I'll
here.
say give them 3 minutes. Give them the 3 minutes.
Well, you know what, that would just be falling in, so just so we're aware, committees are like a subsection of city council.
Mhm.
So you get 180 seconds in a regular city council meeting, you get the same in a committee. A committee is so that the people can have input. Actually, everything.
Alderwoman, we're not here to debate that.
Oh, it's
If-
not a
if-
debate, it's not.
if
Let her
Miss-
talk.
Mr.
No, no, it's
This
just a
gentleman
statement.
is,
I'm
this
That's-
gentleman said that you can have his minutes. Go
That's
ahead.
actually that's state law. That's not a debate. Yeah, that's state law.
Enlightening, our constituency, so they're from the 4th ward, from the 3rd ward, the 2nd ward, from the 2nd ward. I'm just enlightening them so they know the functions of the
Procedures.
You, as the chairman, her as the member, have a ton of, power in your rightful position as the chairman. So what I'm doing is I'm breaking down what exactly the chairman and the responsibility of hosting the committee and what the residents can do. So typically, things will go through the finance committee and then come to the floor to be presented to the councilman for a vote. That's typically how it goes. But those are the procedures, and so that's why it's so imperative that all legislative bodies or governing committee bodies host meetings, because until that happens, nobody would ever be aware of any community happening. But what I was gonna make a statement about was, if you could, from a finance, just tell us about your time in Vegas. I see that we got some reimbursements here for that trip, but I personally wanna know what great things from the ICSC conference could we maybe expect from a retail standpoint, and that's specifically finance. What could we be on the lookout for? What exciting things maybe were notated on your behalf, or even Alderwoman Smith's behalf, and maybe what we could expect as a community to be coming back here to the city?
Well, first of all, Alderwoman, thank you for your question, but I'm not here to answer questions in regards to the Vegas trip or the ICSC conference. These, you know the format for getting questions answered. The mayor's made it plain on several occasions. You can put it in writing, you can call, you can come up, you can email, you can even text. But this is not the forum right here.
I just type right there. I have a problem with that. We've done all those things for months now, and please correct me if I'm wrong. Has anyone gotten an answer? I've never gotten an answer. So what we're being told is a big, F you, because we don't ever get questions answered. So we just want our questions answered. We've emailed, we've made appointments at City Hall, right? Back me up here, residents. We've done all that stuff. We've had doors closed in our faces. We've had unanswered emails. We've had unanswered calls. So we're being told, hey, F you, we're gonna spend your money, but we're not gonna answer any questions. You're saying it in a nice way, but I'm translating, because that's what we experience, correct?
And
I mean, hey, correct me if I'm wrong,
Alderman,
but.
that was said from the executive level, from the legislative level. We don't, even from the executive level, you put that in writing and sent it to us back in February. You have not done or completed that. So in this body right now, that can't necessarily be uphill because that's not put on paper for us to follow. That's not a procedure that you set forth and that you all sat here and voted on.
No, I'm speaking in terms of the procedure that goes forth when you need to get a question answered. It has to go through the mayor's office first. It doesn't come through the alderman first. I answer questions all the time, every day, for my residents in the 6th Ward. Okay, they call me and I have tons of answers. Okay, but this is a question. I'm sorry, not a question. This is a public comment portion of the meeting. I welcome your comments. I welcome you to come out and participate in local government. But right now, we're not going to answer any
So
questions.
will you answer her question like you'll answer ours after the meeting?
I will be more than happy to talk as long as y'all don't try to hold me in here for no long time. But
Okay.
I'll be more than happy to answer some questions after the meeting because it will be a more conducive format for the answer. Okay?
So what's the purpose of finance if we can't ask any questions and get answered? Why have a meeting? What's the purpose?
Thank you for your comment.
I'll wait till after you can answer that one too.
Miss young lady behind me.
This young lady.
Wow.
Ms. Elected Treasurer, Ms. Elected Treasurer.
At the opening of every meeting, I introduce myself for those that may not know who I am. Pretty much everybody does. I just want to keep it formal and make sure everybody knows who's talking. Yeah, and I do know this young lady.
All right, so my name is Aisha Pickett. I am currently the treasurer of the city.
Say it one more time. Because a lot of people
For
don't
real,
know
for real.
that. A lot of people
Currently
don't know
the treasurer. I guess as far as the committee meetings, it was my understanding that they were more so they can be inclusive of the residents. So the fact that we can't ask questions anymore is kind of disheartening because some people have questions that may not be able to be here. And if you answer them on a public forum, those questions can be answered rather than people steady bombarding you guys with the same questions. But that was just my understanding of the committees. My statements / questions, I have questions too, but as far as the reimbursements, I did have that the horticultural tool did raise eyebrows for me. So I was just wondering if we have any policies and procedures in place for reimbursements, especially for those that the expenses are a little bit on the high end. Do we have anything in place where we're supposed to? I know we're supposed to get approval before we spend it, but is there something in place where those things are actually get approved before we actually reimburse people for things like for expensive tools bought on the city's behalf or travel? Just wondering if we have, because I don't really recall any, so I just kind of use my discretion based on other places I've worked. and try to keep it in that realm. But I was just wondering if we have anything in place for that specifically. And I don't know if you guys spoke about this because I was late, I apologize, but if maybe in the next meeting you guys could explain what the purpose of Ontario Group is, because we are paying them large amounts of money, even on the bills list. But it's not really clear why we're paying them. So if maybe you could just make a quick explanation just for the public to know why we're paying Ontario Group, or what is their responsibilities, or something like in that manner. That was just my suggestion question, I guess. That's it.
Thank you for your comment, man.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
My name is Mazurka, and I'd just like to make a comment. I got alarms going off on the inside of me from the top of my head to the bottom of my feet. This thing with this money and this secrecy brings even more attention to the lack of information in which the residents are not able to get on what we're spending the money on. That automatically puts a cloud over all the elected officials that had any part directly or indirectly with passing these things, because you don't know what the money is being spent on, or if maybe you do know what the money is being spent on, and that just doesn't work. That just does not work. This reminds me of when Eric Kellogg was mayor, okay? So it's like somebody's passing the baton, okay? The project over there with those little hub houses, that little thing didn't cost no more than $43,000 to build. Slab concrete foundation, 41 by 23, perimeter on it, 1 story, 43 from $433,000 is $390,000. Where is the rest of the money going to, and what is going on? You can go up to Menards, okay, and they will tell you what the materials cost for the shingles, the drywall, the insulation, the electrical tubing, the wiring, the plumbing, everything that was done for that building, even down to the landscaping. You all think that people don't understand and know what's going on. If you're gonna do something and you call yourself being slick, y'all ain't doing a good job. And that's my report.
Thank you.
Yeah, I agree.
Anybody got any other comments?
The only comment that I have is, I think that.
Excuse me, sir, what's your name?
Jonathan Johnson. The only comment which I have is that I think that we're getting it a little twisted in reference to who the real bosses are in this space.
Thank you.
And I really do believe that the people are now being looked at as being people that are serving the people that are elected officials versus the elected officials looking at it in the sense of you all have been elected to serve. So when we begin to ignore people that are talking, look upside the walls, or ignore people that are actually expressing their sentiments, and they elected you into an office, it begins to raise an eyebrow to the lack of respect that you have for a voter, right? When you run for office, every hand that you shake matters. Every person that you come into contact with should matter. Their opinion about how you run, their opinion about anything, it should matter. But when you get in that seat and you get to looking upside the wall, when the person is talking to you about their tax dollars, or you're ignoring what they're saying, or you can't provide an answer, and you're chairing this committee, and you're refusing to answer questions, and you want everything to come through the mayor, why do we have a chair? We shouldn't have a chair if the mayor has to answer every one of these questions. There's no need. We should just wait for the mayor to come and host this meeting, because he's the one that has to provide the insight and the answers to these questions. Are you a employee? Are you a person that's just sitting here just to cover and be a person that's taking the hits for the mayor? I don't know what it is, but right now it does not look good to have someone in this seat operating to the capacity of a chair and unable to answer a question about finances that you're going to approve and stamp approval over. You can answer the people that are truly your boss. These individuals, taxpayers in this city, are your boss. These are the people that run this city. So the people that actually are paying your salary, the people that have elected you to sit in that chair, them the ones you should answer to versus him that has been elected too. He's been elected to sit in that chair just like you all have. So when you begin to have more merit and more honor for him than the people that are paying you, I didn't wonder, is he paying you too? Because it becomes a question. Who's the money and you're over chairing the committee and you're responsible for disseminating information, you should be able to give intelligent answers to these people that are asking questions. And when you can't, hey, I'll get back to you on that and I'll give you an answer to your question. Not, oh no, you gotta go through the mayor, you gotta email the mayor so he can have a discretion as to if he answers or not. That's not right. And you know that's not right. These people are voting. But if you wanna have the people galvanized, have them rally against people that are not really being servants of the people, then that's what you guys are going to continue to have. When will it stop? Right?
Thank you.
When will it stop? When will the people stop asking for things and people getting hit with, ask Mayor Clark, ask Mayor Clark, ask Mayor Clark, and he's saying, no, you're out of order. Like, which one is it?
Thank you.
We gotta come to some form of order. It has to make sense. And right now, it's not making sense.
Excuse me. Thank you for your comment.
Yeah.
I would like to read
sorry,
it,
yes.
so everybody can go, you can go on the City of Harvey's website, and if you go to the, how we're governed underneath the American Publishing Code, underneath ordinance number 3372. Again, ordinance number 3372 says reorganizing standing committees of the City Council of Harvey, Illinois. And I like to read, the Committee on Finance shall have jurisdiction over the expenditure of all funds appropriated and expended by the City of Harvey, provided that nothing herein shall be construed to prevent the sponsor of a proposal from petitioning the City Council directly.
Let me call you back.
The committee shall also have jurisdiction over all matters concerning the organization, reorganization, and efficient management of city government and federal and state legislation and administrative regulations in which the city may have an interest. The committee shall also have jurisdiction over tax levies, industrial revenue bonds, general obligation bonds, and revenue bond program, developments and matters generally affecting the Department of Finance, the city comptroller, city treasurer, and Department of Revenue, and the solicitation of funds for charitable or other purposes on the street and public places. The committee, got a lot of jurisdiction here. The committee also shall have the jurisdiction over all claims under the Illinois Workers' Compensation Act, the condominium, yes, CONDOMINIUM.
Oh, condominium.
Refuse rebate program and other pecuniary claims against the city or against funds over the custody of the city treasurer, over the custody. So really, 6 or 7 jurisdictions that you have. So even in fact, if we can't make a comment, you have all the power on the chairman of the 6th ward to get it done for the betterment of the people.
Right, and I want to piggyback.
Excuse me, sir. Allow her to finish.
That is all. Go ahead.
So I wanted to
comment.
Okay, I wanted to piggyback into that because what needs to happen is you have to be very mindful of the fact that when you're dealing with money, people are very crafty, and you will end up being the fall guy since you can't answer questions.
Oh, that's true.
You can't fix
That's a
what
good point.
you don't know. You end up being the person that take the hit from all of these yeses that we're giving and approving these bills that you haven't seen. And you approve. Yes. And all of a sudden, you done approved something that a money of his that already done got paid on, and then you done told the committee to approve that, because that's what my buddy of his claim, clearly. And you roll with the group, and then end up, you are incarcerated being the chairman of something. And I want to be absolutely clear.
She's not even in here.
When I say this, because I want you to really receive what I'm telling you. If you have the jurisdiction and the power, use it. But don't sit back and be someone's puppet.
This is not
It's the
the
platform.
forum
Yes, it
for
is.
that.
It is. This is my
Yes,
comment.
I do have the
It's
jurisdiction,
my comment.
but what we
It's
also
my comment.
do, we have public comment. I'm not here to answer your question.
That wasn't a question.
Okay?
It was a statement.
You made a statement, which is the same thing as a comment. The exact
But
same
it's
thing.
not a question.
And we are not going to answer questions.
That's not a
So you
question.
can make all the statements that you want to. As a matter of fact, I think everybody has, and we're gonna adjourn this meeting.
He's learning from Clark. You hear that? Attorney?
Mr. King ain't saying nothing.
He's learning who
The
his
reason
boss
why
is.
it ain't gonna be answered, cause he don't know the answer. That's
I'm
it.
just trying to get
Oh, okay, so now,
Well,
so
for
now we
Alderman.
just gonna blur it out all over the place.
No, no.
Instead of-
No,
we
Oh, so
had
what you gonna make
decorum.
us leave?
No,
You gonna make us
we
leave?
had decorum.
You adjourned.
And we were doing things properly, decent and in order, but we're not doing that anymore.
Oh, why? 'Cause
And
I
see
walked
that.
in?
No,
'Cause I
not
walked
because you
in?
walked in, because you started blurring out.
No, but because
No,
I walked
because you
in.
started blurting
Because I
out.
wasn't here before. I wasn't here before, so it had to be when I walked in.
It always starts with
I just want to say,
you here
what
first.
side
You got
my
mad.
charge is,
You
but
got the ego.
I just strongly
Please, allow this gentleman to talk. He allowed you all to talk. Don't interrupt him.
Well, it's okay because they my servants, so I'm their servant. So they can speak as much as they want to.
Amen.
The thing about it is that the reason this process keeps going on is like a vicious cycle where questions are not being answered. And I'm not putting you on blast, I'm not putting nobody else on that, but the thing about it is when we have a meeting, just like we have approval of meetings, we should have approval of committee meetings too, to see, find out, well, last week, such and such asked this question. Now, this week, we're gonna answer the questions that was asked last week. Now, the questions that was asked today, next council, next committee meeting, the first thing we should talk about is answering those questions that was asked, that way we at least give the people some information, some type of feedback, instead of going through this process of where it's falling on deaf ears, but you did get to speak, but then nobody writing nothing down and said who spoke and what they said and what could be done. I mean, put it this way, like I said always, this is the way to do things, and this could be done better. That's all.
Right, I agree.
Thank you for your comment.
I agree with that.
Motion to adjourn at 6:49.
Where's Telanee? She just left and it wasn't adjourned?
She left. She is.
It wasn't even adjourned until Telanee walked out. Okay. I guess that shows us how seriously they take the.
But that was a good point. Nobody's taking any notes. Nobody's writing anything down.
Right. No,
Is Smith gonna second your motion?
Ms. Smith left during the meeting and it was not officially adjourned.
Right, always ignoring the public. You need a second on your motion. You need a second, Alderman. You gotta call her back in to give you a second. You gotta get a second on your motion.
So moved. We adjourn.
So this week $31,000 for the fireworks.
Yeah, you might, cause you might.